Welcome to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast. Join host Marco Torres, co-founder of marketingboost.com, along with expert guests as they deliver incredible, proven solutions to your marketing challenges in each power-packed episode. Captain Marco has guided thousands of entrepreneurs, growing their sales and marketing through the use of value-add incentives. His Facebook groups are home to more than 84,000 entrepreneurs who are raking in sales with his advice. Get ready to be blown away with game-changing lessons for your business.
Welcome to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast. This is your host, Marco Torres. We're excited today to bring you an incredible guest with a lot of experience on leadership. So we're getting right into it with our guest, Heinz Kaegi. Heinz, let me tell a little bit about him before I introduce him to everybody. He's a compelling C-level business career in several industries. And as an officer in the Swiss Army, Heinz was the founder of several companies in Europe and the United States of America. He lives his passion as an Intl speaker, best-selling author, recognized expert, and mentor of visionary leadership. His globally unique program called Lectureship, Excellence for Life, experience has already inspired tens of thousands of executives. His Swiss best-selling, I can't pronounce the name of your best-selling book in Switzerland. Can you help me with that?
Yeah, gesucht Leader. Actually, translated, it's wanted leaders.
Wanted leaders.
Wanted?
Right?
Yes, leaders.
Yes, sir. Now, one more time with that pronunciation. That was interesting. That's just gesucht.
Gesucht. That means wanted, then leaders. Yes.
Wonderful. So Heinz has designed and conducted over 1,000 corporate development processes in 3 languages on 3 continents over the last 30 years. His lectureship and lead lecture for leadership in European Corporate Academy gives evidence to the many compelling models and concepts he's developed and implemented together with his multicultural clientele. His passion for moving leaders from hard work to heart work makes him and his impact powerfully inspiring. Heinz Kaegi is welcome to the show, and we look forward to learning from you on how to lead from the heart. I look forward to this conversation. Say hello.
Thank you very much for having me, Marco. I'm excited to contribute to this show and to our audience.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our audience of Marketing Boost members is thousands of entrepreneurs on a global scale. For any of you listening to this for the first time, Marketing Boost, real quick, is a solution to provide what we call the wow, surprise, and delight factor, giving our members access to travel incentives that they can use, Heinz, to enhance whatever their call to action is. And your conversation will be, our members are all entrepreneurs. Most have 10 or less employees. So we're looking at providing them with, your expertise on how to grow that leadership skill and maybe even attend some of your events that you hold. You were telling me earlier before we went live, your favorite places to live right now are between Salt Lake City, Utah, somewhere in Florida, I forgot to get where, Switzerland, and Cyprus.
Cyprus. Yes.
And so right now you're coming to us from the Swiss Alps. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yes. My origin is from Switzerland. And I've been growing up in 3 language cultures, so to say. The first one was the Swiss German. That includes that we, the Swiss Germans, we understand the Germans, but actually they do not understand us, because it's a difference like between the Cypriot language and the Greek language. Yes, so that was the first one. The second one was French, donc je suis considéré comme bilingue, je parle français bien sûr. And then the third one, the American language. That was my home state, actually, in the US, is Florida. Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral, the area where the shuttles were
Oh,
taking off.
okay.
Yeah. I could see them from my home in the front yard. The first thing you would see is about 7 miles away. The second thing you would hear the sound of the shuttle. And the third one was the most impressive one, when the soil starts to tremble. Fantastic.
Wow, what an experience.
Wow, what an experience.
Yeah, I lived in Orlando for years, and I never made it over to the coast for one of those takeoffs. So I missed that up close. I saw it from a distance from Orlando, but I never felt that impact of the ground shaking that you're referring to. That must have been intense. No excuse. I lived within an hour away. I should have made it over there to experience that.
Yes.
So Heinz, tell us about your story is inspiring, and when I read about your conferences and your training on leadership and leading from the heart, get into that for us and start giving us, how you got to that point, what led you to teach others to lead, and why is that your passion today?
Yes. What a great question. Do you have 4 hours?
No, we're going to need to try to have the short version.
Yes, so I put it in a nutshell. Actually, I'm a multicultural beach boy, and I love to interact over the boundaries, across all the boundaries of countries. I've been doing workshops with over 14, sometimes 15 or 16 different cultures, managers, executives from all over the world coming together in a corporate setting to do a future design process together. So it is fantastic to see the progress that takes place within the 3 days and nights of such a process that I usually design and conduct as well. And then, to answer properly your question, Marco, straightforward. I have done my C-level career from scratch to top in small corporations, in mid-size, and in large corporations. During these 2 decades almost, I have produced many tops and as well flops. So the tops, they were great for my ego, and the flops, they were outstanding for me to grow beyond. I did mainly focus during my career in the corporate world on 2 questions. The first question was, what makes the difference between a bunch of people working together and a peak performance team? The second question, what makes the difference between me as a manager and me as a leader? So the head and the heart, how do we bring those 2 archetype teams together? So I was eager to research in order to bring the tops and the flops in a wonderful way together that produces success and fulfillment. It's not or, it's and. So then I did research for a number of years. I was eager to discover, to find out, and to explore, are there any leadership principles, like laws, like secrets, that make the biggest difference in our lives, along our careers, and not just in the business world, but actually in all 9 areas of life that we work with in these processes. So having discovered those 7 laws, I first published a book after having designed a model as how these 7 secrets work together, come together, and then ultimately eventually make the biggest difference along your path. The first law is where there is no purpose, there will be no power. The second law on top, actually it's a pyramid, the model with the 7 laws. The second one is where there is no vision, there will be no passion. And I trust that you all can make the connection between those two. When I started off in Florida with my first LEX, LEX stands for Leaders Excellence for Life Experience. After I started off with the vision seminars, I called them the future design seminars. I mean, this was outstanding to see the crowd leaving totally inspired, excited, can't wait any longer, want to put the show on the road in my life, only to see down the road, half a year later, that many of those so-called visions, Marco, have turned into illusions.
They turned into solutions, did you say?
Illusions or delusions, yes.
Okay.
So I have come to see that there's something else that is the foundation. Look, and then I did more research, and then I have been coming up with the first law of leadership, that is the foundation. It's not just about vision. Vision needs a solid, fertile ground to be built on. And that is where there is no purpose, there will be no power. So the first question is, who are you as an entrepreneur? Who are you as a leader of your life? And what are you here for, Marco? What is the right of your existence? What is your core higher cause that makes you tick not just every morning, every day, all the way through? You can't wait. Actually, a TGIF is not your principle. You look forward to Monday. You look forward to Monday. Absolutely. So, and then the third law is where there is no focus, there will be no freedom. Meaning, when you focus your resources, time, energy, and money, you go that way. If you don't, if you have too many projects on your desk, too many tennis balls in the air, then you go that way. Because this is a secret of leaders that make a difference. They have a clear focus. So if you, I'm talking to you in the audience, dear entrepreneurs and leaders, when you have a company with 3 to 10 people, the evidence that you all together have a focus number 1 for this month, for instance, in your small or mid-sized corporation. The evidence is when I can call 3 a.m. in the morning, any one of you, of your crew, and say, hey, this is Heinz. What is your focus on in your company right now? They say, oh, thank you very much, Heinz, for calling. Great, of course. Here's our focus on. It is ABC. Then that's the evidence. Now, too many times when I call 3 a.m. in the morning, they say, oh, Heinz, could you call tomorrow after 10? We have our huddle call in the morning at 9 with our boss. Let me ask, what is the focus one? That's not this one, and many more. So this as an introductory response to your fantastic question, Marco. And of course, there are 7 laws, okay?
Wow, that's powerful. So, I mean, even within the first, I guess we went through the clear focus. Was that a separate law, or is that one of the part of the purpose within number 1?
And that is number 3.
That's number
No
3.
purpose, no power is number 1. On top of it, then number 2, where there is no vision, there will be no passion. Number 3, once you have your visions, it's about how do we allocate the resources in order to realize those visions. That's number 3. So you need clarity, 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 because clarity is power. So if you do not focus, where there is no focus, there will be no freedom. That's number 3. Then comes number 4. Number 4 is where there is no commitment, there will be no achievement. That is crystal clear. And in my intercontinental activities, I see, unfortunately, too often, managers, key people that misinterpret commitment, this word, this term. In one of our Lex in-person events, 5 days and 5 nights, we work on this word, commitment, on 12 different levels. So in a 1-week process, we make it crystal clear for the rest of time what commitment means. Let me give you an example. I'm sitting at an executive board meeting at this huge mahogany table, a larger corporation in that case, the leather chairs, everybody very comfortable. Then there's this topic number 5 or 6, I don't remember exactly. Anyways, they discuss the pros, the cons, etc. At the end of half an hour, the boss says, okay, let's do the vote. Who is pro, who is con? We start with pro. Who is pro? I'm watching, and you watch me now. This is the pro sign. And the same with the con. Now, when you see that, you know exactly that the most important stuff has not been discussed yet here. Number 2, it's not commitment. This is a yes, but looking around, what should I, do, etc. So the main stuff is going to take place after the meeting at the cafeteria. And a month later, when we meet back at the executive board meeting, we are confronted with excuses. So that is not commitment. In the same way, as long as commitment is expected from the top, so top-down approach, I expect commitment from you, I need your commitment now, etc., and all of that stuff, it's for the foxes. To be very straightforward and clear, that's not nice, that's just the reality. Commitment leads to achievement to the same extent, dear audience, that it comes from within, meaning free will from the heart. When I'm in it, because that's what I want, it's not, if it's not sufficient if it's an obligation. It is wonderful if it's an intrinsic motivation. That makes a huge difference in commitment. So that's just number 4. That's one of the 7 laws. No commitment, no achievement. That's a big one. It's actually, it's the key one. It's in the middle of the 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So number 4 is the turning point.
I can see how I can imagine been in those corporate meetings before, and you have, as you mentioned, everybody's looking to their peers for approval before I go, I agree or I disagree. You're afraid to say either one because you're not feeling it from the heart, as you say. and therefore you're not convinced. So you'd rather look around and be the last one to raise your hand one way or the other.
Yes.
Only the most the few and the brave might be the first to say, I want this or I want that. But in today's world, that can be very, very dangerous, because you've got such a cultural wars that everyone's going to be even more scared maybe to make a commitment one way or the other. And I guess that comes from the leader of as we were mentioning, somebody at the top has got to be committed internally in order to sell that to everybody else on the team. I would imagine that's what part of your message is.
Yes. Yes.
You can't be asking for, you really can't be asking for group consensus necessarily. You need to be committed yourself and then sell that to the other team members so that they internalize it and make it their own. Otherwise, if they're doubtful of it, then they're not really committed to the team, and you've got your challenges. Wow.
It's time to wow, surprise, and impress your clients with the most powerful customer draw card available anywhere. The Marketing Boost Solutions Show is brought to you by Marketing Boost, where you can get valuable travel and restaurant incentives to drive your leads from prospects to paying customers. Now you can offer complimentary hotel stays in over 130 destinations worldwide. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com and try it for free right now.
I know you in your training, I'm only beginning to imagine the value of attending one of your events and going through all of these in depth over a period of days. But for the purpose of our quick knowledge on this podcast, what would number 5 be?
Okay, now comes number 5. For the small and medium size executives, entrepreneurs, it's a key one. Only after no commitment, no achievement comes then, where there is no team, there will be no success. So that means it's not about ourselves as the leader. It's about ourselves enabling, self-empowering us to orchestrate the talents of our team. And that is about stop leading your crew or your team based on their actual performance, and start leading your team, your crew, based on their future potential. And that is making a much higher demand on you as the leader, because you are requested to look closer. Because it's no longer about his or her today's performance. It's about the question, what potential do I perceive in this human being? What if this would become possible? What if, And that changes then the leadership so-called style, which is actually, it's not a style, it's an attitude. Do I go for performance with my team, or do I go for impact? If I go for impact, performance is no longer the only measurement. It's about the future. And that leads then to number 6. In Lex 5, no team, no success, we deep dive for all the participants, the attendees, the entrepreneurs and executives, we deep dive into the question, what are your own personal individual success patterns and failure patterns? Because only to the extent that we have, unveiled them to ourselves and to our peers in the in-person Lex process, will we be able to see them in our team members. So then that leads after number 5 to number 6. Actually, frankly, Marco, when I have established this, developed this model of the leadership laws, after number 5, that was it. That was the tip. I mean, I thought that was the tip, only to see that there's something more than just success. So I have read many books of famous people like Henry Ford and others. And in some of those books, you can read that after having achieved global success, everything in their lives, there was a dip. And the dip was kind of the purpose was fading out. Now I have achieved everything. What I'm going to do next? So this soul's urge almost to say would show up and say, hey, how do you pass on your enormous wisdom of success to others? And others, be selective, not just to anybody, to those who you select because they are in alignment with your own values. And for you all in this episode, watching, dear audience, dear members, that is a key question. How do you pass on the wisdom of success down the road? And do not wait till it's too late. We have so many small and mid-sized corporations that when it comes to select successors, who is going to take over this small or mid-sized company, we become usually the hindering factor. Why? That's not logical. That is psychological. Because at some point in time, and you can only speak about that and understand fully if you have the grips of this experience. Otherwise, it's full theory. So why would we not pass on our corporation, our small company, to the next generation? Because we are holding on, because we fear that we lose control in our life. And even deeper, we fear that we're no longer going to be, how to say, used in a way, you know, integrated. I mean, we're somewhere in the empty space. So what do we do? And that is the point when we as entrepreneurs, we need a new vision. So back to square 2, no vision, no passion. And that is then leading to number 6, which is where there is no mentorship in your company, there will be no leadership. Now this is deep stuff on the level number 6. Yes, does that come across, Marco?
Yeah, no mentorship, no leadership. So again, once you're starting to achieve these goals, if you don't have that new vision, if you're not mentoring all of your team members to grow beyond their level,
yes,
and
yes,
even risking that they, move on to other careers because you're moving them up, and there's a risk that they no longer even fit in your organization because they have bigger dreams and goals. But if you're doing that throughout, there's always there's a replacement for that person as well, stepping up, glad to step up into that new leadership role. So that's I've always enjoyed mentoring people that work for me, and I've been in big corporations as well. And often, after years of being in a corporation and mentoring people, and then you see them maybe move on to a different career, or start their own company, and you sort of feel like, what a loss. But I've always enjoyed the pride in that as well. Wow, they're moving on. They're moving on to something bigger and better for them. And if I was a part of that, well, fantastic. So it might mean I got to go back and work on mentoring others to fill that gap. But it's the part of that passion that you can grow with. So did I get that right? Is that kind of where you're going with step 6?
That is it. Absolutely. Yes, you got it, Marco. Fantastic. And then on top, the tip of the pyramid is then where there is no hard work, there will be no excellence. Where there's no hard work, there will be no excellence. So, what is your subject of mastery ultimately in your life? So for me, it is moving leaders from hard work to hard work, from hard work to hard work, because that changes everything from within. So I'm actually not, in my whole programs globally, I do not focus on skills. For skills, we go to a training. That's fantastic. We change patterns. Then when we go through a coaching, it's not about skills, it's about competence. And what I do as a mentor, I do not focus on skills, I do not focus on competence, I focus on the inner core attitude. Because if we change the attitude deep down within from our hearts and connect it with our purpose, our vision, then the competence grows as a natural consequence. And the skills come across not as if just learned and surface level, they come across as credible and authentic because it comes from within. Of course, that is a higher demand on ourselves to open up, looking inside, as well in my life biography. How did I grow up? What has shaped my life? Who were my mentors? What were my painful phases? And what did I learn out of them? And because everything in life has its purpose. It's not just by accident or so. No. You can develop your consciousness and your mindfulness to the extent that you can start connecting the dots. You all of a sudden see, oh, what has happened in my college, teenage, privately, had an impact on my career 10 years down the road after university. Wow. And then when you can start to connect the dots, then you get fantastic insights, life-changing insights, in order for you to grow beyond, to lead yourself from this promised future, and eventually to leave a legacy. And the legacy, I'm not speaking about momentums, monuments. No. I'm speaking about a legacy of inspirations, a legacy of possibilities for our children, for the next generation in your corporation.
I'm scribbling notes away here and enjoying this conversation deeply, sir. Thank you.
Fantastic.
So you were saying the legacy is about leaving possibilities for our children within the corporation that you've built, within the company, or even as I would imagine part of what you're referring to, even just as the role or the image that you left behind of if you inspired your children to, not necessarily take over your company, but if you built something big enough for them to take over and run, or, phenomenal. But if they decide to move in a different direction, did they learn from you? Did they take those work ethics? Did they take these 7 steps? And even if you didn't, did they learn them just by watching you go through the process? Because children will do more about what you do than what you say. So they will follow.
Fantastic. On point. On point. It's not about the words, it's about the deeds. Yes.
Yeah. Your children and not just your children, the rest of your organization will as well.
Yeah.
It's they will do more of following your example than they will what you demand or ask of them. Yeah, for sure. This has been very powerful. So once you go through these 7 steps, and I can only imagine how this can. You said your events, you go into these in a 3-day or a 7-day period. What was the?
Okay. Lex, the first one, the foundation, which is crucial. No purpose, no power, is 3 days and 2 nights.
Wow.
3 days and 2 nights, followed by 3-month online coachings as a group, with your peers, plus individual coaching with myself in person. Online, one-on-ones, plus you get an online e-learning platform with a total of right now between 70 and 80 transformation modules, video clips, downloads, assignments, checklists, and everything, so that once you take the lead, you stay on track.
Nice. And I see in the background you mentioned you wrote some books, correct? Over your career. Where can we find more about the books that you offer or you've written, and this particular course you have? You have something coming up in Florida or in Salt Lake City?
In both places, usually in August and in April. I'm in the Salt Lake City area and in Florida, and you find everything about those events. The easiest actually is that you Google Heinz Kaegi, and everything is there. You can as well go to one of my websites, which is heinzkaegi.com. And you find a landing page and more information. You find me as well on the main social medias like LinkedIn, etc.
Is your business on autopilot yet? Do you have automation in place to capture, nurture, and convert prospects into clients via email, SMS, ringless voicemails, appointment setting? Get all the inbound and outbound marketing tools in one place. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on automating your business so you can make money while you sleep.
What other when we go back to your personal life, how has this impacted, again, how did you come up with this strategy, this idea that you would become a leadership coach and have helped, as you said, thousands of leaders and globally? What motivated you at the beginning to decide that was, your passion, and you went ahead and went down that road?
Yeah. It started along my career. You remember I said produce tops and flops, and part of those, besides being fantastic for my own growing beyond, they were painful as well. I would see, and I'm very grateful for having gone through these experiences, I could see what works and what does not. And I have come across things like, as a leader, I can never be neutral in regards to the impact of what I'm doing or saying or not doing or not saying. I'm either empowering my people or I am disempowering them. There's no neutral zone. It's either this or that. And through my career, you know, I myself have always been the youngest in the respective rank in a corporation. And so the more experienced colleagues, they would actually, yeah, I was under watch, so to speak. What is this youngster going to do, you know? So the only path for me was, in order to cope with all these huge expectations, for me being the youngest, the only thing was hard work, 7/24. And that has led to fantastic success and a steep career from scratch to top. That was the good thing about it. Let's say the learning topic there, looking back now, was through my own personal process, I got into this competition mode, greed in a way, greed for success. When there was a next possibility for a higher rank, for more money, salary, bigger car, and all of those incentives, you know, I'm not speaking about the holidays. That's a different topic. That's a fantastic one, actually. I have learned this from you, and that will have positive implications in our company, what we do for the future. Thank you very much for having shared this with me, Marco. So now back to what I just said. This is in a way deteriorating of always this question: do I gonna go for success or for fulfillment? I was a totally career guy. Fulfillment, that's not a big thing. Success is my thing. To compensate what I would believe deep down inside from myself, to compensate it. Success, success, success. And I was very successful and very quick and very steep. The downside was that I ended up, look, this is the success axis in our career. And this is the fulfillment axis. Here is 100%, here is 1%. Here is 1% of success, here's 100% of success. So we are always in this yes or
balance,
no.
yes, yeah.
You know, where is the balance? And the balance is when you have success and fulfillment. So there was this point along my career when I almost burned out. So, and I got a divorce. I didn't have time for my children and all of that. So I gained so much in my business career, and I lost so much in other areas of my life. So I was not in balance. I was completely on success up to almost the burnout. So there was this day, this very day, I will never forget, Marco, when I made a decision. The question, do you go for success or for fulfillment? Question mark. On that day, I made the following decision. I delete the word or. I delete. I replace it by and. And the second thing I change is the question mark at the end. Do you go for success or fulfillment? I go for success and fulfillment, exclamation mark, no question mark. Boom, that's a declaration, full stop. And that has fantastically changed everything. Because only when I'm in balance, when you are in balance between success and fulfillment, are you going to be a happy camper in the long run. And that is what I wish for you all. So this has shaped my career, to answer your question, Marco. That was a major thing. So I decided to jump off the cliff of my well-protected career and money and everything. I jumped off the cliff. My vision was to share all these phases and challenges and chances with many corporations, with thousands of executives, to bring this message about hard work, from hard work to hard work, from hard work to hard work across. I jumped off the cliff, trusting the angels that they would deliver the wings on my way down to the Florida beach, in my case, which they did. And I'm very grateful for that. Yes. And then there is, if you were to ask me, Heinz, is there another thing that you want to share from your heart with our entrepreneurs, with your members? Then yes, there is one. It's a crucial one. It is about leading from the future. And let me share a short example with you. I'm in this corporation as a coach and mentor, and I have the management crew before me in the audience. And then I ask them, do you guys have an internal mental movie theater? Do you from time to time, consciously or unconsciously, see movies? Yeah, everybody was okay with that. Now then I asked, how many channels do you have? You know, because on the TV you have hundreds of channels. How many channels do you mainly watch? So here is the unfortunate result. We came to see that all of them, they mainly watched only this channel here. It's called the reality channel. So then when I said, hey, what are your visions individually and together in your company? And they said, vision? I mean, are you a dreamer, Heinz? You better go to the doctor. We do not have time for such stuff. You know, we have the reality, we have the challenges. We need to deliver the next end of the quarter. If we don't deliver a fantastic bottom line, we risk something like this. So then I said, okay, now, if you only watch mainly the reality channel, what is you're going to do tomorrow? So we find out tomorrow you're going to do about the same as yesterday, with one exception. You expect different results. Obviously, that's not going to work. So you need to activate the channel number 2, which is not the reality channel, which is the channel of the future. It's the future channel. So because then, as you are watching the future channel, creating this vision, where do you want your company to be at 10 years down the road? What if you would ask your company, hey, baby, where would you want to be 10 years down the road? What is your most magic dream? How are we going to work together? What are going to be our values? What achievements? What is our fingerprint? How do we bring about our uniqueness? So less looking around to the competitors and more looking ahead. So in order to lead your company and your people from the future, you must have airtime every single day, a minute or 2 or 5 or more, airtime with the future. Otherwise, you cannot lead your people and your company and your life from that promised future. This is an absolute key.
Wow.
I say in corporations, the higher the number of so-called strategic review meetings in a company, the larger the lack of vision competence.
I need you to repeat that. The more, the higher the amount. Go ahead, say it again.
The higher the number of strategic review meetings, let's say every 6 months, every 3 months, in the extreme case, strategic review meetings, I can predict how high the lack of vision competence is, because then in your company, you confuse strategy with vision and vice versa. So that means once you have spent enough airtime with your future channel and this dream, this promised future, fingerprint expression, your uniqueness comes about into existence, you will need less strategic review meetings because the vision is established. And then you are leading from that future, and this part of the strategy is going to fall into place. So you do no longer need so many strategic review meetings. Does that come across?
Yeah, I'm getting it. That's you really made an impact on me today, and I hope everybody listening has taken a bunch of notes and taking all of this. 7 leadership laws that you review. Heinz, this was again very, very powerful. Thank you very much. No purpose. Help me go through them again. Number 1 was no purpose, no power. Number 2,
yes.
no vision, no passion.
Yes.
Right. Number 3 was help me here.
No focus, no freedom.
Oh yeah, I made my scribbles all over the place. No focus, no freedom for number 3. Number 4 was vision. No commitment. No commitment. No achievement. Very well. No commitment. No achievement. 5 only. No team. No success.
Perfect.
Right. 6 was no
mentorship.
No mentorship, no leadership. So you need to create a new vision in number 6 and start mentoring. And then 7, no heart work, no excellence.
So no hard work, not
hard work. Yeah.
Not hard work.
No work from the heart, no excellence from your team.
Yes.
And then lastly, takeaway there, do you have your daily future video channel where you are visualizing your company's future, your personal future, your family future, your fulfillment future? In other words, as you said, can you balance that workload, that greed for success that you must have to be a successful entrepreneur?
Of course.
Yeah. So you've got to have that internal greed to succeed, so to speak, if you want to use the word greed. But then you've got to balance that with fulfillment. And I love your comment there. Turned it from if or to and exclamation mark. So you're going to have fulfillment and success, exclamation mark. So don't forget that channel. Change the channel in your brain and create your future. Be the producer of your own future video film in your head every day.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Heinz. It was an incredible pleasure to have you on our show. I really want to thank Christian D. Evans, our co-host here to the Marketing Boost Solutions podcast, for introducing us, Heinz. It's been a learning experience for all of us on the show. Again, to find out more about Heinz and the books that he offers and the training courses coming up in August. April is gone already, so we missed his last events. But in August, he's got some more events coming up. You might want to participate, get his books and information on HeinzKaegi.com. Thank you again very much, sir. Really was a wonderful chat with you, and I look forward to following you in the future here.
Thank you very much, Marco. Dear audience, all the best for you.
Don't go away. I'm going to hit stop record, but yeah, go ahead and say what you need to say here in a moment. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yes. I wish you to be crowned by success. And the first thing is be good to yourself, because only then can you take the responsibility in the long run for the people that you are entrusted with to lead into this promising future.
Be good to yourself, and that really has a very deep meaning as well, because it means, are you giving yourself the vacations that you need? Since we promote vacations on this on Marketing Boost, are you traveling? Are you building those memories with your spouse and children? Are you taking care of your health? Are you taking care of your spirituality? Are you working on relationships with friends and colleagues that you can literally build lifetime friendships? And all of that is that balance that you referred to, Heinz, that take care of yourself kind of sums it up in a big way as well. It really does.
Again, thank you very much for having me, Marco.
I
look forward to see you again.
Me too. Thank you much.
Thank you much.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast with your hosts, Captain Marco Torres. Now it's on you. Take the next step now. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on how you can wow, delight, and surprise your clients with the most amazing draw card on the planet. So stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty for knowledge. See you next time.